Hello everyone, I'm Robin and I will be chairing the Committee on Environment, Public Health and Food Safety NV2. With the Mediterranean Sea plagued by environmental threats like pollution and overfishing, how can the European Union best cooperate with its Mediterranean neighbors in preserving the ecosystem? The Mediterranean Sea has been central to human culture for longer than we can write about it. But today our relationship to the Mediterranean is not the healthiest one. In terms of pollution, we keep on adding pressure, with the population in Mediterranean countries having almost doubled since 1970 and continuing to grow, especially in North African countries. Around 70% of the wastewater that enters the sea is still completely untreated. Plastic is another issue. While the Mediterranean holds only 1% of the world's water, it holds 7% of the world's microplastics. That's the highest concentration any sea has. The fact that the Mediterranean is one of the world's tourism hotspots makes for an even bigger challenge. For example, the 285 million tourists arriving every year leave the region with a 40% increase in marine litter every summer. Another big player dependent on a healthy Mediterranean is the fisheries industry. With around 62% of Mediterranean fish stocks overfished, the hope of continuing with business as usual for a long time seems slim for our fishing fleets. We're in danger of cutting off our own food supplies. Speaking of fish, another worrying development is the introduction of about 1,000 alien species of marine life, mainly since the 1950s, half of which enter through the Suez Canal. While their impact isn't well understood, some of them, called invasive species, are bringing local ecosystems dangerously out of balance. Another level of difficulty is added by the fact that there's a lot we just don't know. Collecting, validating and sharing data about the state of the marine environment remains a central challenge to successfully protecting the Mediterranean. This issue is characterized by an imbalance between the North and the South, with especially the EU countries having substantially stronger know-how and legal frameworks for monitoring the issue. To top things off, water scarcity, concentration of economic activities in coastal areas, and reliance on climate-sensitive agriculture make the region a climate change hotspot, meaning that it's very strongly affected by the currently ongoing climate change. For our discussions in Thessaloniki, we'll be exploring these issues in the context of a number of international agreements, institutions and initiatives, like the Mediterranean Action Plan and the Barcelona Convention, the Union for the Mediterranean and the Horizon 2020 initiative for a cleaner Mediterranean, in order to understand where we are and where we need to go. Finally, there's a few questions I would like you to explore in your work on the topic. How well is the European Union's approach to international cooperation working in the case of the Mediterranean? And how, if so, should we change our approach? What are the most pressing environmental issues that need to be addressed in the Mediterranean? And what are the best approaches we have for tackling them? How can enough political support for the protection of the environment be reached before our natural resources are permanently destroyed? Should we protect the environment for its own sake, or should we be doing it for ourselves?